G'day, I'm Mark from Self Sufficient Me, and this is the second intro I've done for this video. You'll see the first intro very soon, but I just wanted to say that over the last few weeks has been really hectic here in the Self Sufficient Me household. We've had 3 birthday parties, well in fact 2, my 50th of course, which was just an absolute scream, and my son's birthday is today, so another weekend kaputza, really. It's a fairly big one. I haven't had a lot of chance to knuckle down and get into the content producing, so we'll be back to normal programming next week. But don't despair, I still feel that you'll get a lot out of this video. So let's get into it again. Also, I don't know. And you know, when I first started food gardening, I was about 3/4 of the way through my 21-year army career. And even then, I was starting to feel the pinch of serving in the military. It's a pretty tough gig, as you could expect. And anyone that's served in the military knows that it's really hard to get through, especially for that length of time, without something happening or without getting an injury, and usually permanent injuries that then follow you after your career, and mine certainly have done. I'm missing pieces off me everywhere. Nina's the same, my wife. She did 20 years as a army medic, fixing up people, but herself, she also got injured. I mean, she still had to do pack marches, fire weapons, run down, crawl, observe, aim, fire, go over obstacle courses, go on operations, and all that takes its toll. She's got buggered knees, buggered back, buggered shoulders, and these things don't get easier as you get older. But you know what? Boo-hoo to us, because the fact is though that most of us, I guarantee you 99% of you guys watching me here now have got some ailment. It might not have been from a military career, you might not have been a professional rugby player or anything like that. It's just simply because people are getting old, but also if you've lived to at least 40 or above, you know that it's life. You fall downstairs, you have a car accident, you have some other problem, you have an illness, you get, dare I say it, you know, the big C, and all these types of problems that we're all susceptible to as humans can slow us down in life. The thing about gardening is it can be quite physical, and this is a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing. It's a good thing that gardening and this as a hobby is physical, because it keeps you healthy just by doing your hobby, walking around, picking up things, digging and all that is good exercise. But the negative of it is, exercise like getting up and going for a jog or going for a walk, it can be a bit of a mind block, because you can think, oh gosh, it hurts. I've got a sore back. I really... Excuse me, my eldest has got a dental appointment and I've got to make sure Nina gets him there. What can you do? I'm a home dad as well. James has got a dental at 4:30 at Dr. Death.
Rightio, we'll be running at the barbers, so we'll see what we can do.
Okay then.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Yeah, so what can happen, before I was really interrupted with that phone call, but what can happen is if your mindset is that it's too hard to do, well then you're not going to really go out and do it. And that's why I'm a big advocate for stand-up gardening, because that does limit the bending. It does limit the amount of back-breaking work that gardening can become, especially when you're weeding lots or when you're digging, and even when you're just trying to put seedlings in, you've got to bend down. As you know, as you get older, it gets harder to bend over, it gets harder to get down low to the ground for any length of time. It gets quite painful. What I wanted to show you was just a little bit of candid type of banter between Nina and I as we were in the garden, and she came out to see me, and she started just going through and doing some weeding just naturally. And I started filming it, and I thought you might find it interesting. Just a little bit of banter, backwards and forwards, just talking about the garden and talking about stand-up gardening. So let's just get into that now. It was just a good example of stand-up gardening. You're weeding nice and easy. You're not even in your gardening gear, but you're able to sort of bend over and still pick out some weeds easy without getting dirty or too much effort. Just as you're browsing through the garden, pick out some weeds. That's what I like about it.
One thing about it is that you can make your own. You don't need to, buy if you haven't got any money.
Oh yeah, yeah, and
what we've done.
and you can use, like, a lot of this is scrap material like that there, but yeah, okay, we bought the iron new, but you can go to a recycling place or the dump and pick up a lot of this sheet iron quite cheap,
Yeah.
And I mean, this mesh for the gourd tunnel, that's not expensive either.
But the thing is, you've used that one panel for years and years. It just stays for ages, years. It doesn't like...
Well, a lot of this panel here was here when we got here. So, and apparently the guy who we bought the place off, he said that it was out the front here. It was a passion fruit panel, and he reckons it was here for when they built it. So that'd be 30 years old.
I like that. That's why I want to get rid of all those low ones, so I can just go along here and just go.
Yep.
Pick.
Yep.
Pick. And then there you go. I'm just sitting here talking to you, walking around, and I've done half the garden.
Yeah.
You don't even think that it's hard work.
No.
That's what gardening should be. It shouldn't be hard work. You should be enjoying it.
Yeah, pottering around and enjoying it.
Especially with my needs. So what do you think we should eat?
Well, that butterfly chicken with maybe a little bit of gourd,
I'll just recook that cannelloni.
some eggplant, I think.
Yeah.
Just a few herbs, maybe some of these winged beans. There's a nice crop on here.
Oh, there they look good.
Or the winged pea or bean, whatever you want to call it. The asparagus pea. So yeah, half a dozen of them.
So I was reading an article on how to save money,
Mm.
and it was a good list, but it actually didn't have in there how to grow your own food. I thought it was like quite a big list, over 40 ideas. Talk about credit card fees and
Oh, is that right?
pay off your credit card fees and Netflix and oversubscribed subscriptions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They talked all about that, insurance, paying too much money, but they didn't talk about the basic of growing your food.
Isn't that typical of today's
And it was like
society?
it was on Facebook, so everyone
Yeah.
was looking at it, and I thought,
Where's the food growing? Yeah. I
not
mean,
there.
how much money do you have to pay just to buy a handful of herbs, which you just grow like weeds at our place? You're paying $3, $4.50 for a handful of herbs for a meal. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't it be a cost saver?
What's that one?
Oh, that's some type of bug sucking on it.
There you go. So this is learn about the
That's the bit of gourd though. That's what we don't like it.
So this is
That's a bit of gourd as well. That's the Japanese bit of gourd. They open up and drop.
drop their seeds.
Yeah. And there's one coming up.
Oh. So this is sunk down this bit here.
Yeah. And all raised beds will sink. But since it's new, it'll sink even more because, you just all the leaves and all the logs and everything and sticks that are underneath this hugelkultur type bed, all that will eventually crush down and sink down, and that's what they call it a lot of the time no dig gardening, because we add more compost, more soil, more this and that to the top, and then you plant your plants in the next season.
So what can you use with the bitter gourd that we don't like?
Oh yeah, the reason why I think the reason why they love growing this in Asia and India and that is because it grows so well. It's actually very easy to grow, but the problem is it's bitter. So what they do, first of all, they got the palate for it. They don't mind the bitterness. Like I ate it in that curry that I made, and it wasn't bad. I didn't mind it, but you didn't like it. The boys didn't like it, but I could eat it. But what they do is they'll salt it first, and that gets a lot of bitterness out, like the old eggplant days, you know, when eggplant used to be really bitter. And of course, you know, there are some other types of eggplants and heirloom varieties that aren't bitter, but yeah.
Okay.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. You can see what I mean. You don't have to go and spend a whole lot of money on pre-stamped beds, although I do recommend them. And these types of raised beds that we've got in our garden here, most of them are made by Birdie's Garden Products, and they are branching out into the USA as well, which a big majority of my audience are you guys in the US. So by mid-year they should be available in the US, or a great portion of these types of beds. So like I've said in other videos, I'll let you know when it happens, but it should be coming soon if you are interested in these types of beds. But if you're going to make your own, like I have done with the gourd tunnel, that can be quite cost effective. Don't get tied up with all the naysayers saying things like they probably will down below in the comment section. Oh, the beds get too hot, or that's not a good way, they'll dry out too fast. I've answered all these questions before. Do a search on my website, selfsufficientme.com. Just search for raised garden beds and you'll see that I think I've got 15 points to debunk a whole lot of myths that people talk about these raised garden beds. The thing is, they really are good. If they weren't, I wouldn't be able to grow tons of produce in it and in all these types of beds if it wasn't a good method of growing. And I certainly wouldn't be telling you this or going through a facade of saying how good raised bed gardening is if it was a lie, because I'd get found out pretty quick. In Australia here, it's actually getting very common to have raised beds, and these high-sided raised beds as well, not just a foot off the ground or 2 feet. These are like, 3 feet high, or at least 80 centimetres, nearly a metre off the ground. And it's a really good waist height for most people to garden in. So that's what I would recommend. So no excuses, couldn't be easier, couldn't be better. So really consider, if you think gardening is a little bit too hard or you're a bit past it, consider raised bed gardening, because it is a really good way to go. It takes a little bit extra setup, but once you've got the bed set up and you've got the medium in it and you're growing in it, you'll find that maintenance, which is the hard thing in gardening, the actual maintenance and the growing is so much more easier. And when it's easier, you do it more often. You do it more often, you're getting more exercise, you're walking around, it's better for you, and I reckon you'll live longer. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye for now.